morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. My name is Marva B. I am the host of the Black Link Experience. I am the CEO and founder of Black Link Magazine, and this is the Black Link Experience. We'd like to welcome our guest, Mr. CeeJay Joseph. CeeJay, welcome to the Black Link Experience.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate you.
Absolutely. We could not wait to get this interview. So thank you again for being here. So let's just jump right in, CeeJay. If you will, go ahead and tell the people who you are and what you do.
Well, to the good people out there, I am CeeJay Joseph, of course. I hail from Orlando, Florida originally. I am a Navy veteran. I served during the very first Persian Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm and Desert Comfort. And many years before that, I always had this, as they say, the bug of wanting to act, and really didn't do much in my youthful years, and didn't really do much in my schooling years either, although I was in the choir and the band.
Right.
And of course, I joined the Navy, and I attended actually one acting class when I was in junior high school, because both of my parents, my mother, who is still with us, my father, who is resting peacefully, both worked on Saturdays at that time. And so my wonderful aunt, my beloved aunt, I call her my aunt sweet potato pie. She doesn't like when I do that, but I do it anyway because she has some of the best sweet potato pies this side of heaven.
We need some of that.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Yeah, she took me to one class, but then she had an eye situation that developed, and then couldn't drive me any longer. Or she said, he has no talent. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not sure which one it was, the eye situation.
How funny.
And, yeah, so but basically I did that one class and then kind of went on with my life, but I then doubled back later on to really finish what I had started. And from that point on up until this point, here I am as a professional actor here in Houston, Texas, and Austin, and really the state of Texas and outside of the state of Texas. And I am a member of the Screen Actor Guild, SAG-AFTRA, and very proud member of the union as well.
Yes. Wow. So you have had a journey in this.
I've had a journey
Trying to get here. You're an actor, you're a voiceover talent, you do film, TV, commercial. Thank you for serving our country in the Navy. You have some directing, producing experience. So you've done a lot. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, if you can think back, once you circled back into this realm of things, into this industry, at what point, like, do you remember what your first opportunity was when you said, okay, I'm going back, I'm going to go head in first, and this is what I'm going to do? What was the first opportunity that was presented to you?
As far as an acting job?
As far as acting.
Yes. I went back to Lisa Maley Acting School in Winter Park. And I went back through the basic course, the advanced course, and then eventually hired a private coach, Kevin O'Neill, who I hired to make me better to land my first agent, which I did. And I signed with Sandy Bell at that time. And one of the first opportunities that I can recall is with SunTrust National Bank.
Ah.
Yes, it was one of their industrial films. Industrial films, by the way, are some of the bread and butter for a plethora of actors and actresses out there. But I can recall sitting in the lobby waiting, because in acting, there's a lot of waiting that takes place.
Right.
And I just, kind of whispered to myself that I've achieved my dream of becoming a professional actor. And that just simply means that I was now getting paid for what I do.
Right.
And just to have that opportunity to achieve that bit of a dream and now build upon that foundation has been really rewarding. And one of the most interesting parts about that SunTrust industrial shoot a couple that we used to attend church with in Orlando, Phyllis. She worked at SunTrust, and all of a sudden one day she's watching the videos, like, oh my gosh, I know him. So from that point on, she always reminds me of that. And it's one of those simple pleasures of acting, where someone actually recognizes you on the outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's awesome. You talk about, there's a waiting. It's always a waiting or a hurry up and not get anywhere or no, 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 no after no. And so when you do get that yes, it's like, yes. So it's maybe not that I made it to the top of my game, but I made it in here and I'm actually getting a check for it for doing something that I love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I talk to a lot of, people in the industry,
Mhm.
and it is just that it's a struggle, but you have to love what you do.
Yeah.
Can you talk about some of the no's and some of the struggles or roadblocks that you had to come across? And I asked that question because there are so many people wanting in the business, and
Sure.
all they see is the good in it. The final where you're actually now in a movie or you're on TV or they see that part, but we want to be really clear about the work that you have to put into it and the rejection and all of those things. Can you tell us about some experiences that you've had?
Absolutely. It's funny you mentioned rejection. I just read an article just the other day of the gentleman. I can't recall his name, but he is now plays Bond, 007, and made tons of money, had tremendous amount of success,
Mhm.
but recommended people not get into this business because of the amount of rejection. And you're right. What you see on TV, on the big screen, or here on radio or what have you, there is a tremendous amount of rejection. However, for me, I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, that's where my faith is rooted
Yes.
in knowing that great is thy faithfulness.
Yes.
You're faithful in the small things, you will
Come
do well in the larger things.
on. That's
And
fact.
so I've had many situations where trying to get to an audition, I can recall trying to get to an audition. I had this old Nissan Maxima. I'm trying to get to the audition. This was for the Fantasia movie that was on
Yeah.
Lifetime.
Yes.
And my timing belt on the car broke.
Oh,
I'm like, okay.
not today.
Not well, yeah, not today. I called my mom's. I'm over here off of Church Street or wherever I was. And can you come get me, take me to LB McLeod Road? Those who are in Orlando know exactly those areas that I'm talking about. And shout out to my home city, Orlando, by the way. And she picked me up, took me there. And I thought the audition went very well. However, I did not get it.
Oh,
I've been in situations where there was an audition for some type of product commercial, and you have to read from a teleprompter. Now, at the time, I didn't have any experience in teleprompting reading, but I went in, and it was at this hotel. People were in the lobby waiting. I get my turn. I read, and I'm reading, and the casting director was like, I can remember Mark Mullen, bless him. He says, damn, that was good. Excuse my
no,
language.
no, no. That's okay.
But I'm just quoting what he
Right.
said. And I was like, wow, that is, I'm like, my
Oh,
head is
now.
about to explode.
Yeah.
And I walk out, and there's the sea of actors and actresses, and I'm thinking, you and you and you, oh yeah, and you in the back, y'all can go home. I got this. Yeah,
No.
I didn't get it. So when you have a situation like that where the casting director tells you, and no dispersions on Mark, he's a great casting director, but it was just not the part for me.
That's right. That's right.
For whatever reason. And you will have many more rejections than you will have acceptances. But that's where you have to continue to work on your craft, have faith.
Yeah.
Me personally, continue to pray.
Yeah.
And stay grounded and have a level of humility.
Yes.
And when you do get that yes, be thankful for it, but also be thankful for the no's, because you have to go through a certain amount of no's to get to that yes.
Yeah.
And stay in the game. I was just on a call last night with SAC After Foundation, looking into and learning more about video game casting,
Right.
which is a huge industry. And one of the
Yeah.
directors, Tom Keegan, talked about, just stay in the game, continue to work on your craft. Don't give up, and stay in the game. And that would be my number one recommendation, coupled with, of course, faith and prayer, and just realizing that your time will come at some point, but you got to be in the hunt.
Yeah. You gotta love this industry and love love everything about it, because I often try to sway my son from being in the music business. I say, no, no, don't do it. But that's his love, that's his craft. So what my part now is just to learn everything I can about the business so that he doesn't have such a hard time, like if you ask Marva B, I'm saying don't do it.
Yeah.
But it's with
Yes.
any career. Things
Right.
don't just happen overnight. And I believe what is for you is for you.
Mhm.
So no matter what, and with prayer and with everything, that you said, because I'm a spiritual person and I believe, that God has it written, and so when it happens, it was for me. And so not to take it personal when you get that no, just know, like you said, that just wasn't a fit for me. He loved my work, but for this part, it wasn't
Right.
for me. Yeah.
I was discussing with a very talented actress, Elle, and friend of mine, and writer, just incredible,
Right.
how there could be a litany of reasons why you were not cast for that project.
Yeah.
The audition could have gone phenomenal, but there are a number of reasons why you got that no. And you're right, Marva, you can't take it personal, because if you did, it would personally crush you.
Yeah.
But you can't take it personal, because it may have nothing to quote unquote do with you
Yeah.
as an actor or actress. Just go in with audition, have fun, make bold choices, throw caution to the wind, and it's like wet noodles against the wall. See what sticks.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You just can't take it personally. You have to have tough skin, because a lot of people can't handle those no. And then they start to think, you tell me what your experience is that maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not in the right, industry. Maybe I'm choosing the wrong career. Have you ever had a moment in your career that you was like, maybe I'm just not good enough for acting, or I'm just not good enough to go on these commercial auditions or whatever? Have you had those moments? And if so, how do you combat that?
I've had those moments to a certain degree. And I mean, for a level of transparency, sometimes I still have those moments to a lesser degree, because you think you always want to do something different after you leave that audition. Oh, I could have did this, or I could have did that. Well, maybe my audition wasn't good enough. Maybe I didn't have the energy that I needed to have that day. However, because of grace, you get another opportunity to do it again.
Yeah.
And again, because there's going to be more opportunities for you to go into an audition, and you just have to have the right mindset. Our minds can be our best asset, but it can also be our worst enemy. And if you choose to allow it to be your best asset, then it will be. And if you choose to allow it to be your worst enemy, then it will be. Henry Ford once said, if you think you can, if you think you can't, you're right.
Huh.
You're right.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
And I told this story just the other day about a few years ago. I was driving, and it was maybe 2018, I think it was. All that year, I hadn't booked anything. I mean, nothing. Audition after audition after audition after audition. Now, you may have some people who go into their first 25 auditions and book every one of them.
Yeah.
You can have runs like that, but that particular year, I didn't book anything. I'm driving and I'm talking, Lord, what is going on?
Absolutely.
But then he reminded me one of our executive pastor at our church, Willow Avenue Baptist Church, preached a sermon some years ago called the Ministry of Memory.
Mm.
And he reminded me about the story of Sarai and Abram, of course, Sarah and Abraham, how they wanted to have children. And, they wanted to help God. He was like, I'm good. I don't need your help. Well, we're going to help you anyway. So they didn't have the faith that he would deliver on his word.
Right.
So he reminded me of that story. You just have to have faith, and just a mustard seed of faith. I said, okay,
Absolutely.
all right, just continue pushing.
Yeah.
Before that year ended, I booked an AT&T job. And that role went so well that they brought us back again for a second run, and it paid pretty well.
Hey, when God shows up, he shows up. When he opens that door, he'll open that door.
He does. And when he opens a door, no man can close. And when he closes a door, no man can open.
Right.
So,
that's right. Which says that you have to just have that mustard seed of faith. And he'll come through, even though it seems like he's not in the background working. He really is, but he knows what's best for us. He knows what's best. And you talked about the mind. I believe in, like the law of attraction. What you put out is what you get in. If you say you're not any good and you're not going to get it, going to the audition saying, I'm not going to get it. I know I'm not. It's too many people. Then you know what? It comes to fruition. You have to really keep a positive attitude. And that's with anything. I think it's not just with a career in acting or the industry, it's across the board. If you have to treat people kind, you have to take care of your relationships, you have to and this is just for me, you have to have God first in your life and all that you do. And then you just have to put the action behind it. And when it doesn't work, what did you learn from it?
You just mentioned something that just reminded me of a story that I just told the other day. Again, my mother, my wonderful mother, had surgery in June. So I flew home to Orlando to tend to her after that. And part of that was really, making sure she had something to eat. So every morning the menu list grew. So by the third morning, she wanted grits and eggs and bacon and coffee. And I'm like, okay, fine. But the one issue was grits. And I always told myself, I'm not good at cooking grits.
Right.
And so, but I decided to take the mindset and say, instead of saying I'm not good at cooking grits, I'm really good at cooking grits. Yeah. And I kept repeating that. Well, grits came out really, really good. Yeah. I was learning this from my team manager, Darren. He always talks about, not having bad days, but having bad moments. We're all going to
moments. Yeah.
We have bad moments, but don't let that bad moment transpire into a bad day, and let that bad day transpire into a bad week.
And it's just a trickle effect.
It's a trickle effect, so have the bad moment.
I love it.
And push forward.
You landed a role in Walker, CW's Walker. So tell me how you got connected to that, your experience in doing that, and how that all came together.
Yes, absolutely. I'm represented by Pastor Narini Bosby and Talent Agency, and headed by some phenomenal women, starting with Cindy. And that's how I really get 90% of my auditions and work. And so when Supernatural wrapped, I guess it was at the end of 2020, Jared Padalecki, they were already in development for Walker. And Walker is a reimagined version of Texas Walker Ranger. Is
Ah,
not the same show.
okay.
Not the same show at all. It is a phenomenal show, and I'm not being biased. It's
Yeah.
just a
But I
phenomenal
seen
show.
the trailer and it was phenomenal.
And so in November of 2020, I got a call, an email really, from my agent. Hey, you've been requested to audition for Walker. And it was for the role of a mayor. I'm like, okay, great. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
So, and by this time, everything is virtual. As
Yeah.
far as there's no going into the casting director or driving to Austin or Dallas or San Antonio or
Right.
wherever you have to drive to. And I already had been set up to audition virtually in my green screen studio.
Right.
So I, did the audition. It was for the role of a mayor, and I was pretty excited about it. And the silent no's are deafening, because when you don't get it, you don't hear anything. But the silent no's are deafening because you're waiting and waiting. And then I get to a point where you're like, okay, yeah, I didn't get it. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell this part of the story, because I truly believe it's part of the journey for Walker. Every year for the past, let me tell my age here a little bit, for the past 2 decades, every Thanksgiving, people know where to find me who really know me.
Right.
I'm at the Salvation Army volunteering and feeding the homeless through between Orlando and, of course, now here Houston.
Right.
And so laid the audition down. Next thing you know, we get to Thanksgiving. I'm at the Salvation Army. I'm talking to Shira, the director, and we're talking just in general. And then we stumbled across the topic of acting and stumbled across the topic of auditioning for Walker. And by that time, Miss Addie overheard Walker. And she was like, oh my gosh, I really love that show. And now she's speaking of Texas Ranger, because Walker had, now I did not get that role of the mayor, right? Because he knew what he was doing, I firmly believe. Right. So of course, when as actors, if you're not in that 1%, you're the 99% where you have to work. Right. So I am a professional life insurance agent and a massage therapist. And so I'm working in the insurance business. I'm building that, preparing to leave massage therapy full time. And that's going really well. And I get the next audition, and I got the insurance. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I'll go up and lay down 2 takes and see what happens. I get an email later on indicating that I've been requested to be held on to these dates. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll be available. Not really having any enthusiasm about it at all. Yeah. At all. Mm-hmm. Then I get another email. The dates have changed. Are you still available? Well, yes. Now, but this is for myself and some other people at that time. Right. Like, yeah, okay, I'm available. Well, then I get the final one that I have been booked. Yeah. And I was so excited. Of course, I praised him, got on my knees and prayed and Thanksgiving prayer. And the funny thing about that is, I didn't know it at the time. I had a thought, but the role was a recurring role where the mayor was not. Whoa. See? Maybe I told you. So when I got it, I was just overjoyed. Yeah. I've done a couple of TV shows before, but not to that level. This is a totally different level. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It really, and I was trying to downplay it. My friends would tell me, "Oh man, that's a big deal." I'm like, well, yeah, but because you want to maintain a level of humility, you do, right? And graciousness, but it was a big deal. And when I I got to Austin, did my fitting, got to the hotel where they had me staying, set up shop, provided some insurance to a family.
Right. Still working, still working.
Still working.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I show up to the base camp, and I'm standing in line, did the COVID test and everything like that. I saw a line, standing in line, and the guy says, "What's your name?" I said, "CJ Joseph." He says, "Oh, you're a talent, right?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, okay, yeah, you don't need to be in this line. No, follow me." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, wow.
And then he took me to my own personal trailer.
Oh,
I get a little emotional thinking about
yeah.
it, because that was the first time I had my own space where I
Yeah.
didn't have to wait, you know, in this room, but my own
Oh,
trailer. And
that's a big deal. You can celebrate
yes,
that.
yes, and my own toilet.
That's important.
So yeah, it was a very big deal. It was a very proud moment, very grateful moment, to be sure. And it was just,
Wow.
yeah, that was it. It
Yeah.
was like my mother would say, "Wow."
Wow. Yeah. So proud, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, I appreciate this. Like, this is so interesting. We would love to meet you and get you in amongst other, people in your realm of work. So
Yes. Well,
thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. You've done commercials, Verizon. I think I saw IBM and Toyota. Done a lot, and it just does my heart proud to see a Black man in the industry being able to work. And while sometimes it may seem stagnant that there's no work coming, God always shows up and He makes it happen. So, kudos to you and thank you for that.
thank
So. Before we get out of here, go ahead and tell people how they can reach you on your social media site or your website so they can check you out and support you as well.
Right, absolutely. And let me just double back for just one quick moment.
Of course.
Yes, my bride and I will be there, of 11 years, 1 month and 5 days.
Um,
Not that I'm counting, right?
no, who's counting, right? Nah, nah.
They're just numbers in the wind.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome.
But people can reach me on my website, which is being refreshed as we're speaking, but
Okay.
ceejay.joseph.com. That's CeeJay Joseph.com. Also on IMDb under CeeJay Joseph. Instagram and Twitter, I am CeeJay Joseph. And on Facebook, CeeJay Joseph 21. And just a little bit of a teaser. I was in episode 17 of Walker of the first season. And just so the viewers know, that was out of 18 episodes, that was the fourth highest rated episode for the show.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a big deal. And it's okay to celebrate, CJ.
Yes.
And we do stay humble, but we're thankful, we're blessed, but we can celebrate. So celebrate. Like,
Yes,
that's a big
yes.
deal.
And I am celebrating that I will be back for season 2. So breaking news.
Breaking news here on
right now, but I will be back for season 2.
Exclusively on Black Link Magazine.
Yes, exclusively on Black Link Magazine. That is right. I will be back for season 2. And I cannot thank you enough for having me. Just so you know, you're actually that I can recall, my first interview that I have done. And so thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. And I cannot wait to actually meet you in person for your event. That will be the red carpet event. And I am just super excited to meet you in person and be involved in that event as well.
So excited, so humbled, and so thankful for you being here. Can't wait to meet you. I'm going to connect you with someone else for an interview if you're okay with that.
Beautiful, beautiful. And nothing shy of the very best that God has for you.
Thank you. And the same to you. And I accept that well. I accept
Thank you
that.
so much.
You guys, we're going to go for now. This is amazing. Chills all over me now. This is amazing. Remember, you guys, we're going to go for now, but remember to respect one another, respect yourself. God bless.